This micro-credential deals with network planning and design and consists of 5 targeted skills. This targeted skill deals with remote access and VPNs. Remote access services allow users to access network resources from anywhere in the world. During the COVID-19 pandemic, remote connectivity allowed students to attend school and for people to continue their work, thus reducing the effects of the shutdowns. Since then, businesses have been much more flexible. The U.S. Census Bureau estimates that the number of people primarily working from home has tripled since 2020. Remote access can be broken down into 3 types: dial-up or direct, web, and VPN. Dial-up or direct access is a connection directly from one device to another device. A dial-up connection would require each device to have a modem and a connection to a public switch telephone network, PSTN. When one computer dials another, the user and computer are authenticated, and a connection is established. Direct dial connections require multiple lines for multiple users to connect, and are limited by the bandwidth available on the PSTN. However, because this is a direct connection, security isn't an issue. Also, it does provide enough bandwidth for accessing and configuring devices such as routers and switches using terminal emulation software like Telnet and Secure Shell SSH. Direct access differs from dial-up in that it connects via the local area network LAN or wide area network WAN and uses the remote system's Internet Protocol IP address. The remote system has a list of usernames and passwords for authentication, and each use the Remote Desktop Protocol RDP. Windows Remote Desktop Connection is built into all versions of their software and allow users to interact with the remote system as if they were sitting in front of it. Linux and Mac OS have similar features for direct connections. The downside of direct connections is that if one computer is on a different network or doesn't have a public IP address, they won't be able to connect. However, the other computer's router or gateway can be configured to forward the connection to the internal computer using port forwarding for RDP. Web access makes use of third-party clients and online services to create connections with remote computers. The user simply accesses their account on a website and selects the pre-configured computer they want to access. The online service provides the security by encrypting the connection and using credentials for authentication. The user is presented with the remote computer's desktop either in a web page or through the client software on their own computer. The person can interact with the remote computer as if they were sitting in front of it. There are basic versions of these programs available for free or paid versions with more advanced features. Virtual private networks, VPNs, are another remote access solution. They use encrypted tunnels to carry information securely across public networks. Based upon type of services they supply, there are 3 types of VPNs: site-to-site, client-to-site, and host-to-host. Organizations that have multiple offices in diverse locations can make use of site-to-site VPNs for connectivity. In this type of VPN, each site has a VPN gateway that serves as an endpoint for the connection. These endpoints are responsible for the encryption and decryption of the data, as well as for maintaining the connection. With this type of connection, all the sites will appear as if they were on the same LAN to the users. The second type of VPN is client-to-site. In this implementation, a user uses VPN client software as the endpoint on their end and connect to a VPN gateway as the endpoint on the other. As with the site-to-site VPN, the endpoints are responsible for encryption, decryption, and maintaining the connection. VPN concentrators instead of gateways may be used to allow multiple simultaneous connections. When the connection is established, users need to supply valid credentials for access. Once authenticated, their computer will be given an IP address for the remote LAN. Users will then have full access to all the resources available on the remote network. The last type of VPN is the host-to-host VPN. For this type of connection, each host has special VPN peer-to-peer software installed. The remote host does not act as a gateway for the network and must have a static public IP address. Basic information was provided in this microcredential for remote access and VPNs. The greatest benefit is that remote users can securely access and use their corporate network or website in much the same way as they would if they were physically in the office.